Hello and welcome back to More of a Six. Apologies for the lack of episode last week, but now we are back and we're going to be reacting to game week 5 of the Premier League. I'm just going to say it now. I'm not going to be talking that much in this episode because, as you can probably tell, I am very poorly. But I have a nice bulky panel with me. I've got Char, Matt, and Kyle to break down all 10 games that we saw this weekend. And we're going to start off with the first game, the Merseyside derby. There were goals from Ryan Gravenberch and Hugo Ekitike for Liverpool, which was enough to win the game 2-1, despite a very nice strike from Idrissa Gana Gueye. What did we make of this game, Charlie?
I caught bits of it. I was on the train up to the London Stadium, so I didn't catch all of it. But I thought Liverpool deserved winners. Everton kind of grew into it in the second half. But Liverpool just seem inevitable at the moment, really, don't they? All of these last-minute winners, and obviously yesterday they were just great in the first half, and just at that point it was really hard for Everton to come back into it. Ryan Gravenberch is some player, by the way. Obviously a goal and assist yesterday, but just more generally, like watching him play football on the ball, he's so good. Very rarely gives it away, and I think as the weeks go by, obviously it's still early days, but Liverpool really do look strong favourites.
Yeah, they were brilliant. And I know we were saying, and I made a TikTok about their kind of inevitability and how they just have that kind of winning gene, the clutch gene. But I would say this was probably the most well-rounded performance, the most convincing performance from Liverpool in terms of getting it done kind of pretty convincingly and quite early. Obviously Everton got back into the game, but I don't think they were ever going to threaten. Kyle, did you catch any of this one?
Yeah, I watched glimpses of it, and again, carrying on with the last minute winners, all of that talk. A lot of people saying that it's luck. The way I see it, and I'm sure that you guys would probably agree, it's actually kind of what sets apart the good teams from the elite teams. Really, they just get the business done, um, and they really are the only kind of convincing team in the league at the moment. I mean, Arsenal don't look too great considering how much money they've spent. City are all over the place one week, but fine the next. Um, Liverpool, it's it's early days, obviously, but I really think that it is kind of their league to lose at the moment. 5 points clear already after game week 5.
Yeah, I mean it's quite an advantage that they've built. Obviously looking into the league table when you're this early in, obviously as Palace fans, me and Charlie have definitely been doing that because we're sat in 5th. But it doesn't really mean anything at this time. So, the only thing I would say is I think you make a good point about the kind of gap that's being built. 5 points this early on is quite, that's quite heavy. Just the 5 games in, obviously they're the only other team other than Palace that are completely unbeaten this year. They're the only team in the Premier League, of course, that have won all 5 of their opening games. Let's move on to Wolverhampton Wanderers. I don't know why I said that so weird. Wolves' poor start to the season. When I say poor, I think that's an understatement. Wolves have been utterly shit this season. I think that's the only way to put it. That start continued at home to Leeds. They went 1-0 up early on, but ended up losing the game 3-1. Goals from Noah Okafor, Anton Stack with a lovely free kick, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who has already eclipsed the number of goals I predicted he would score this season by 1, turned things around for Leeds. So that's 5 games for Wolves so far and 5 losses. They sit rock bottom of the Premier League, 0 points. Matt, what do you make of Wolves and what do you think is going wrong for them this year?
Again, it's the lack of investment and the lack of substantial replacement that they've had for players like Matheus Cunha, Ryan Ait-Nouri, of course, as well. I thought they started off quite well. I didn't watch the game. I've seen the highlights. That first goal was very, very nicely worked. Their new signing, getting a debut goal. But all round, I think there's probably a mentality issue. You lose 4 on the bounce. It's not going to get much better. But I think the concerning thing is behind the scenes that you start this badly and you give the manager a new contract. There's something not right there.
No, 100%. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I didn't realize actually quite how bad because I saw, I think Tom Garrett put a tweet out kind of just taking the piss and saying, about how they're never going to get a point in this calendar year or whatever it was. And there were Wolves fans in the comments. And I was like, we're 5 games in. Are you definitely going down? And I actually hadn't realised how bad their starts this season had been, and I don't know why I hadn't clocked onto it as much. But they could be in trouble big time. We are going to move on to the next game. We're going to talk a bit more about certain games. Obviously, we had I believe, our first more of a six derby this weekend in the Premier League. So what we're going to do, we're just going to quickly go through a couple of the games that just weren't very interesting this weekend. First off, Burnley, they earned another point as they held Forest at home to a 1-1 draw. Nico Williams opened the scoring for Forest in the second minute, but Jaden Anthony Strike, who I've been really impressed with so far this season, that was on 20 minutes. That was enough to earn the Clarets their 4th point of the season from 5 games. And finally, the other game that we're not going to talk about too much was Bournemouth hosting Newcastle. I mean, the less said, the better about this one. The game ended 0-0 with a combined 3 shots on target between both teams. So I don't think I need to say much more than that. Anyway, we're going to go to Charlie for this next game because, of course, Palace travelled to the London Stadium and extended their current unbeaten run to 17 games in all competitive fixtures as the Eagles won 2-1 away from home. Goals from Jean-Philippe Mateta and a brilliant first-time volley on his weak foot from Tyrick Mitchell were enough to beat the Hammers, with Jared Bowen scoring for West Ham. And Palace, as we said earlier, up to 5th in the league. Charlie, you were at this game. What did you make of Palace quickly? And then I'm more interested to hear what you made of West Ham.
It was a great day out, first of all. I was really, I'll tell you what shocked me the most about yesterday, the West Ham home support. I know that there's not much to cheer about at the moment, but it was genuinely the quietest home support I've ever heard in my life. I will say that with confidence. It was atrocious. They made absolutely no noise. Half of them weren't even singing the Bubble song, which shocked me because, like, obviously, you know, every club is, your song at the start of the game, everyone sings it, don't they? That's like the one song that everybody sings. Half of them didn't even stand up for it. I thought the game was actually a little boring at times. I thought we were definitely the better side. We were valued for the win. We created more chances. I thought Pino was all right in the first half. He's still going to take a bit longer to get up to speed. Obviously, he came off injured at half time. I was really impressed with Daichi Kamada. If I had to pick out one, but I thought he was brilliant yesterday. He's still a little bit weak, but we know that now that he's going to get pushed off the ball sometimes. But yeah, West Ham were poor. They were so poor for the entire first half. Genuinely, never looked like getting anywhere near our box really. And then they had a couple moments in the second just after they scored. We hit the bar just before they scored, and I thought, oh no. And then they scored. I was like, oh, it's going to be one of those days we're going to lose this.
It was a game where it felt like the second goal was probably the most important, and I feel like that has been the way, especially with West Ham. You know, we've seen it against Spurs, we've seen it against Chelsea. When they kind of concede the second goal, their heads just completely drop, and then the floodgates open. And I, to be honest, was expecting that if that chance from Lacroix when he hit the bar went in, I think the same would have happened. I mean, their heads, you know, like you say, they scored. They had a good kind of 15, 20-minute spell,
Yeah.
and then we went ahead. And their heads just dropped. It looks like
They
they forget how
offered
to play football.
absolutely nothing after our second. Absolutely nothing. They all look like they had given up. And you do start to wonder. I saw a report earlier today that apparently Potter won't be sacked before the next game. And you just start to think, like, is it going to get any better for them with him in charge? Like, the players don't seem to want to play for him. There was, like, the main thing, right, is for me that's noticeable is West Ham over the years. If you go and play West Ham away, you know it's going to be a competitive game. They'll get into you. They won't give you time on the ball. The crowd will get behind them. None of them look like they cared. And if I was a West Ham fan, I'd be really worried at the moment, especially if the club aren't acting and sacking Potter now, because I just can't see it getting any better.
No, for sure. I mean, and I for some reason I thought we had a worse record at the London Stadium than we did, but that's actually our 7th game unbeaten in a row there. So it's 2018 the last time we lost at that ground, and I believe Andy Carroll scored a bicycle kick in that game. Yeah. Matt, as a fan of a team that's had Graham Potter in charge, what do you think it is that's actually going wrong for West Ham? Because I know we're spending a bit of time on this game. Obviously, we've got the Palace element, and we tend to focus on our teams as fans. But I do think West Ham are a really interesting case this season. So what do you think is going wrong for them?
I think a few things. It's maybe they didn't address the right areas in the window. He's also switching systems quite a lot, and it takes probably a couple of years for players to properly buy into this whole versatility thing he does. And players not playing in the right positions. But I mean, we had Trossard playing right wing back and Solly March playing left wing back, and it takes a while for players to adapt. And they went to Forest, played a 4 at the back. First half against Spurs, I thought they were okay as well. Played, I think, a 4, maybe a 3. I think they're definitely better off in a 4 for one. Their centre backs are not suited to a 3 whatsoever. Max Kilman for 40 million is one of the scams of the century. He has been absolutely
shocking.
diabolical,
So bad at
really
football.
bad.
I've always said
I
this.
thought,
I never got that signing.
I thought he was okay for Wolves, and never 40 mil.
No,
Never in a million years.
That signing was quite soon after the kind of, not like the initial big money. I think the transfers that really, in my opinion, completely fucked the British transfer market were the likes of Harry Maguire for 80 million, because at that point everybody was kind of putting people on a benchmark compared to the likes of Maguire. So what if you're as good as him, you should be at least that 60. And then players that were kind of very much an outlet. I mean, it's mental now that an average Premier League player to come in and just do a job, not particularly a great job, that's going to cost you 15, 20 million at least. Whereas, maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago, that was
Look at Dango
5 million.
Ouattara. Dango Ouattara to Brentford. Like, he
Good
wasn't even
player, though.
starting. He's a good player, but he wasn't even starting for Bournemouth. And what was it, 38
And he's
million?
He's also not starting for Brentford at the minute. He's not
38
starting
million,
for 3
that's
games.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a lot. Anyway, we are going to move on away from the dismal nature of West Ham United, and we're going to talk about the first more of a 6 matchup this season, unless I'm being really stupid and missing someone. But Brighton hosted Tottenham Hotspur at the Amex. It was a battle between Matt's team and Kyle's team. So, as I said, hosting Spurs, it ended in a 2-2 draw. So Yankuba Minter rounded Vicaria in actually really good fashion to open the score for Brighton before Yassine Ayari scored one of the most bizarre goals I've ever seen. I don't really still understand why he shot or how it ended up going in, but it did.
I thought it was a rocket, so I thought it was a rocket at first. But you look at the replay and it's a swerve.
It's just a bizarre.
And then so at first you think it's a rocket, and then you watch it again and you think there's a deflection. And then you realise there's not, and then you watch it again. No, but I don't even think it's that, because he kind of didn't even get, but he didn't even get behind it, did he? It was almost like he just was completely unaware of the ball until it was about a yard in front of him.
It's where he is. The ball's coming to him, and he's just flopped.
It's one of the most bizarre goals I think
yeah.
we'll see this season. Anyway, so that obviously put the host 2 goals up before I'd say pretty fortunate Richarlison strike was followed by potentially an even more fortunate own goal by Jean-Paul Van Heck, taking after his captain Lewis Dunk, putting the ball in his own net. And that's where my jokes will stop for now. So, Matt, I assume you were at the game. What did you make of Brighton's performance? And I know there's been quite a lot of narrative. Obviously, I'm a Palace fan. We all know this, but I am quite present in kind of Brighton spaces on social media because I find it interesting. I mean, I'm the same with other clubs as well. But there's been quite a lot of discourse around Herzl as a manager and his position at the club. What do you think the problem that, you're 2-0 up in a game and then you're just struggling to hold on? Was it a case of Spurs being good, or was it a case of Brighton maybe being poor?
I think 3 things: inconsistency, mentality, and I forgot the last one. I had it in my mind like 2 seconds ago. But anyway, I thought first 45 we were excellent. We sat back, and I've got no problem with sitting back, defended very well actually, and really nullified Spurs. And we were very direct as well. We tried to play through their press. They pressed us very, very highly, and that's ultimately how we got our goal. Second goal, we've been through that already, and it's weird. As I said, popping on wrists and Vicario completely. Just shouldn't be going in. And then second half, we are very, very inconsistent. Usually we're crap one half and good the other, and completely opposite. But this time, came out second half really low energy. I don't know what happened at halftime, but we just seemed to sit back even more than we were. No transitional threat, and then we went to a. Oh no, Spurs obviously scored before halftime. It was quite lucky, and Lewis Dunk. He defends with his heart and not his head, if that makes sense. You look at his positioning. He runs to go on the line and defend the goal line when he just left Richarlison completely free. And yes,
Yeah.
it is fortunate, but you got to look at Dunk.
Can I ask you a
I know-
question, Matt?
Yeah.
About Hurtsler. Do you think part of it, because you said obviously, you know, first half you're good, second half you're sometimes poor. Do you think part of it is naivety? Because obviously he's
Yes,
young and he
yes,
doesn't have
yes.
much. I feel like maybe he lacks that nous,
Yeah,
you know, to make those
completely.
decisions.
Yeah, completely. His game management is usually quite poor, and his substitutions weren't very good at all. I don't know why we're still bringing on Milner. He's just giving him he's giving him minutes just to try and break the appearance record at this point. That's
bizarre.
literally all it is. And either his subs are brilliant, like they were against Man City, or they're shocking. And I'm bored of the inconsistency. I'm bored of the toxicity because I want to defend her. So I want to like him. I want him to do well at this football club. He just makes it difficult because
I think
some of the
there's
decisions
also
he makes.
there's a level of it
Really
where it's kind of
strange.
like you can't be learning on the job in the Premier League, to a certain
Yes.
extent. And I do think that it was a risk going with someone so young and so inexperienced. And I don't doubt he's a good
It
manager and
wasn't.
he will be a good manager. But I just think he might be a little. I wouldn't even say naive. I think he's clearly trying to kind of figure out how he likes to manage games and his style and all of these things. And that might be why you're seeing so much inconsistency. Kyle's been very quiet. So we're going to go to you. Obviously, to be fair, it ends up being a good result for Spurs coming from 2-0 down to draw 2-2. I watched some of this game. I don't know. The first half especially wasn't. It felt like I was almost watching Postecoglou Spurs again, and I don't know if that's really harsh of me. So feel free to correct me. But what did you make of the Spurs performance, and what there must be good signs with fighting back to bring it back from 2 goals down.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying about obviously the first goal that Mentor scored. It was very much kind of reminiscent of what we were used to seeing under Postecoglou, where our back line was so far up the pitch that the opposition had so much space in behind. And it's like you don't give a player like Minter with the pace that he has that amount of room in behind, and he punished us. So I thought that was a bit sloppy, but to be fair, I thought we played well. And like you said about fighting back from 2 down, there's been a lot of talk about Tottenham over probably the last 20 years of when Levy. I know he's not there anymore, but when Levy was in charge, of kind of Spurs not really having much of a backbone, kind of just flopping under pressure. Whereas it was actually nice to see some sort of fight to get back into the game as well. Brighton, I know obviously Matt said that they're a little bit of a kind of bipolar, inconsistent team at the moment, but you never really know what to expect with them, and they are a tough side to play. Like you look at their squad, and it is a good squad, right? No matter how inconsistent they are.
Without doubt,
Um,
yeah.
Brighton are hard
But
to
yeah,
beat as well. Brighton are hard to beat. I mean, the stats
Don't know
show
about
it. No, I mean,
Not
the
this
stats show
season.
it. In 2025, you are the team with the fourth least. Fourth least. Oh mate, I lost my voice yesterday, West Ham. You're 24.1% loss rate, which is the fourth best in the Prem. So
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
I mean, I think out of possession, we're up there, definitely. Very, very strong out of possession. I think Hertz has some good principles with regard to that. But I think he's a bit lost in terms of his identity and how he wants this team to play, whether he wants to dominate the ball, whether he wants to transition. I personally think our best stuff under Hertz has come when we're playing on transitions. And
Matt, can I ask
the
you about?
goals,
Sorry, can I
Yeah.
ask you about Belaber as well, really quickly? Because I know that you've been kind of frustrated with his performances this season and saying he's been more reactive instead of proactive, whereas he was the opposite last year. So just building into what you were just saying before I rudely interrupted you, can you just tell us a bit more about Belaber as well?
obviously had the United interest, and he had an injury in pre-season. He just hasn't been the same player. He hasn't looked anywhere near the same player. I don't know if it's Hertz that's losing the players, because Mitoma looks more or less similar. He's ghosting in games now. And I do start to wonder if Hertz is starting to lose it and lose the dressing room. Baleba, though, just slow. He stands there, shoulders down. And last season, it was a case of him reading situations before they happen and being proactive. I think that's a big skill you have to have, especially as a midfielder, but as a football player in general. You have to read things before they happen and anticipate the game. He's just so half-assed and nowhere near the player he was. We were better when Diego Gomez came on second half. I forgot what I was saying before that.
I mean, you hope that he's not downing
Sorry,
tools as well, just because he didn't get the move away. Because I mean, that
I wouldn't have
ultimately
thought so,
does
no.
not. No, you wouldn't think so, because that would. I mean, any player doing that doesn't make sense to me, because ultimately you're not then going to get a move later down the line if you're not playing at the level that you've shown that you can. Let's jump on to Saturday evening. Obviously the first of the two kickoffs. It was nice to. I love it when we have a 12:30, a few 3 o'clocks, 5:30, and then also the 8 p.m. It's brilliant. So much football to watch. So the first of the late kickoffs was, of course, Manchester United beating Chelsea by 2-1. Chelsea's keeper Robert Sanchez was sent off in the 5th minute, which saw United go 2 goals up before the score of the second goal. Casemiro was sent off in additional time for a second yellow card at the end of the first half. Chelsea pushed back, but were only able to muster a single goal, courtesy of Trevor Chalobah. They made a lot of substitutions early on, Chelsea, and I think that maybe kind of hampered them, taking off the likes of Pedro Neto and Cole Palmer within the first 15, 20 minutes was not ideal, kind of completely ruined their game plan. And ultimately, Manchester United came out on top. Kyle, did you catch any of this game?
I did. I watched the majority of it, I think. I'm trying to I've watched so much football this weekend for once.
It's been one of those weekends, hasn't it?
Yeah,
No,
yeah, and I've been so unwell as well, so nothing else to do. But
what did
yeah,
you think of the decision? Should we start with that? Let's start with the decision with you and Char. So, for you, was it a red card?
For Sanchez, sorry.
Yeah, the Sanchez one.
Sanchez. I don't know, because like the defenders were very close, and it's like, I think if he's knocked the ball, because he went to like knock the ball over Sanchez, right? So you would have had to have then collected it on the other side, and had 2 defenders either side of him not been able to react to that. And I just think
it's a hard one. I feel like if it's a centre back making the challenge, it's maybe not. But I think because he's the keeper, and technically, in fairness, at first I was like, I'm surprised that I don't think that's a red card, because of how there's 2 defenders covering. Fofana is easily covering, like, comfortably. There's not even a question. But then you see the replay from behind, and you can kind of see he has flicked it straight over Sanchez's head. And not to mention, the challenge itself is possibly. I mean, if a player did that on the pitch, you may be looking at a straight red for violent conduct. So United really capitalised, I thought, on that kind of man advantage. What did you? Because we've kind of seen them struggle a bit this year, as they did last year, with the kind of character and the fight, but they kind of sniffed their opportunity. What do you think they took it as best as they could? Still,
yeah, I think so. I think, yeah, I think it was literally as soon as the whistle blew to start the match, they were putting Chelsea under pressure. Whereas I don't think we really see that often with United anymore. Like, they don't go out like straight away out the blocks for like the opposition, and they were having quite a lot of joy, definitely down the left side with Dorgu. They were just whipping in crosses after crosses. I can't remember what point it happened, but was it in Buemo that it was at the back post. Sanchez was forced into having to make a really early save, and that kind of set the tone for like the next 35.
Yeah. The ball was
minutes.
crossed in. Sesko missed it on the slide, and then I think it was a half volley from Buemo. 100%.
They were finding a lot of joy down that left side.
Yeah, they were completely. And it was weird to see Manchester United play so well. I think it was a great game to watch though, because the rain was biblical and the players were like smashing into each other. And we saw earlier on,
proper English football.
well, I don't know if any of you guys saw, but earlier on in the day, the game at Ewood Park between Blackburn Rovers and Ipswich was suspended with 2 minutes left to play because the ball literally could not move. And there's a video, and if you've not seen it, I'll try and retweet it on the More of a Six Twitter account. But a player makes a slide tackle, and it looks like it's been edited how long he keeps sliding for. He just like slides and slides and then spins upside down and keeps sliding, and he's still going at the same speed. It's one of the funniest things I've ever.
England.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely superb. Right, before we go on to Saturday night's game, Matt is going to tell us about our boys Walton and Hersham. How did they get on at this weekend, Matt?
Oh, of course, it's never not dramatic. 2-0 down going into the second half. Oh no, 2-0 in the second half, and then about the 70-something minute, I can't remember what minute it was, we get one back. And we keep going, and we complete the turnaround the 92nd, 93rd minute, I think, and win 3-2. It's just what we do. Honestly, it's the drama, and it's the reason why this club gets a mention on this podcast. And another thing, I've got the Sassuolo game. Since when did Matic play for Sassuolo?
Nemanja Matic?
Yeah.
Well, I assume since the summer.
No, I swear, players
like
him just spawn in at these teams, don't they? Like you see
Muric
League
as well.
They just spawn in.
Muric, keeper.
They really, yeah. It is bizarre. So up the Swans, obviously. They say Swans rise. That's what they say in their social media bios, and it must be true because they only keep bloody winning. So up the Walton and Hersham. Well done, boys.
Joint top now as well.
Oh, well, I should know this, to be honest. I need to get myself a shirt at this rate. Saturday night saw Fulham host Brentford in, I guess, what we could call a London derby. I don't think they like each other, but I don't really care about either of them, to be honest. So I'm not too sure. The Bees, obviously, away went a goal up through Mikkel Damsgaard, but Fulham turned on the class, in fairness to them. They scored 2 goals in as many minutes to put themselves ahead just before the break. Excuse me. And they carried that momentum into the second half early on as Ethan Pinnock was forced into scoring an own goal, which capitalised on the earlier strikes that were from Harry Wilson and Alex Iwobi to seal a 3-1 win for Marco Silva's men. And a pretty good start to the season for Fulham, you have to say. Matt, did you catch any of this one? What did you make of the game?
Yeah, I did. Pretty... I want to say... Well, I just had it on the background. And pretty entertaining, I'd say. I mean, with Fulham inconsistent, I think. They were awful against us first game of the season and got a lucky set-piece goal in the last minute, which I'm still not happy about. But Brentford going... What was their first goal again?
Damsgaard.
I won the ball back high up.
Damsgaard, yeah. It was Josh King mistake, wasn't it? Who went on to have a very good game as well himself. Nicely taken goal from Damsgaard, but from then, I think the way Fulham equalised was quite unlucky. Couple of deflections, lands for Iwobi, takes the goal nicely. But from there, wow, that second goal, that Harry Wilson finish.
He's such a player, mate.
Perfect. He is. Yeah,
if he could stay fit. If he could stay fit.
Charles having a nightmare today.
Oh mate, I was earlier. I was playing golf first thing this morning, and I absolutely mess up a drive. No, I just shout 4, and I was like, oh god, it's bad, mate. It's rough.
But Fulham, Fulham looked overall. I think performances have been quite strong when I've seen them, and Brentford, on the other hand, I think I have been full of praise from this season so far. The way that they're so direct and so old school and very set piece based, it's good, but it's only good up until the fact that it's very, very conditional and they need certain or just X, Y, and Z to happen before they get thrown in the right position in the final third, a set piece, this player to win this first ball and then we react to get the second ball. Very conditional, and in that respect, I think they're quite one-dimensional, and that's not very sustainable either. So, I think we're going to see a drop-off. As much as I do want Keith Andrews to do well, and I like what I've seen from his football, I think it's probably more championship-based, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, for sure. I think I agree with you in terms of the style. I think I've actually been really impressed with Brentford. I think maybe them or Wolves would switch in my predictions if I can go back and do it again. Because I think I said Wolves would finish just above the relegation zone.
Who would have
Um,
said that Brentford would be fine? Who
Oh,
would have
well,
said
let's.
that?
Me.
Also, I didn't get a chance earlier to say, what did I say about Anton Stack? What did I say?
Oh, you said he'd be a
What a
player.
goal.
It was a good
What
goal.
a goal, mate.
You know your
It was
stuff.
a good goal.
Yeah.
You're about 15 minutes late in the episode, but it was a good goal. Now Sunday's action. Obviously, we've already mentioned Bournemouth Newcastle, which was possibly the worst game of football to ever be played. So we're going to talk about the other earlier kickoff, which was Aston Villa versus Sunderland. I believe it was at the Stadium of Light. And Villa's first league goal was scored of the season. And Matty, the Villa social media team, did a little prediction video at the start of the season, and Villa fans were joking to them to delete the video because it was asking all the players who's going to score the first goal. And a certain Polish right back said that he would be the first goal scorer, and it came true. Matty Cash's prediction, as he put the Villains up in the 67th minute. Sunderland had been down to 10 men since the first half when ex-Atletico Madrid player Ronaldo was shown a red card for violent conduct. The 10 men fought back, however, and Wilson Isidore scored, I believe, his second goal of the league season to rescue a point, which makes it quite frankly remarkable 8 points from Sunderland's first 5 games. I believe they're sitting 7th at the minute as we record this. I mean, Kyle, how brilliant are Sunderland doing this year?
But we said in the first episode that they've spent a lot of money, and so do a lot of promoted teams when they come up, but they've spent it so smartly. Like for example, the Granit Xhaka signing, we said at the start of the season, who was it? You said that he would be the signing of the season. It might
Corey,
be
Corey. It was
Yeah.
Corey.
with his Shaka tattoo. That assist, by the way.
Oh,
what's a
he's
header?
such a good player.
I mean, head through to Isidore.
So unfortunately, the episode that me and Matt recorded last week, our little double date on Riverside last week, isn't ever going to be published because I had a really busy week, and obviously you'll know Sam's not been here at the moment, and we miss him very much. But he will be back soon, hopefully. Basically, nobody was able to edit it, so that episode was just sat dormant. But obviously, Palace played Sunderland, and bloody hell, I mean, they're probably the best promoted team I've ever seen come up. I mean, they looked. I think so, Char. I think so in a long time at least.
I thought
thought
they were poor against us. I thought they
No,
offered
but it's just-
absolutely nothing.
But,
Going
was that
forward.
another voice crack there?
Another one.
I thought they were poor. To be honest,
I really disagree.
Oh.
I think they have all of the capabilities of having actually a really good season.
No, I
remember,
agree. I agree.
Do you remember?
But I just thought they were poor against us.
But do you remember maybe 4 or 5 years ago, it normally was the case where 3 teams came up, 2 of them normally didn't do very well and went back down, but one of them had a good season. And we saw Burnley finish in the European places. It would be great to see Sunderland do something like that again. So yeah, I mean they're just doing really well. Villa though, not as good. I'll go back to you, Kyle. What have you made of Villa? What do you think's going wrong for Villa at the moment?
It's the same thing every week, really. I think it's just a lack of creativity. Morgan Rogers has been really, really poor this season so far. They're just not really creating enough. 2 shots on target. We've just been saying, how well Sunderland have been doing, but they are a promoted side. Villa, in theory, should be pushing for Europe. They are a Europe quality side, and only having 2 shots on target with 72% possession as well. Is really, really poor. That was their first goal, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Premier League.
Yeah, that is ridiculous, by the way.
Absolutely mental.
Considering as well with Emery, like we're used to him scoring a lot of goals, but then also conceding quite a bit as well, so it balanced it out. And he's lost that as part of his game, of Emery's game. I just think, I mean, as soon as Morgan Rogers kind of gets ticking, I think they might be okay. But he's just looked really, really poor. A shadow of the player that we saw last season, really.
Do you think maybe he doesn't want to be there? Do you think maybe he doesn't want to be there because he looks all right for England? When he plays for England, he looks fine.
I wouldn't say that.
So
I
what's
just think
happened?
there's a massive. I think projects do sometimes come to kind of a climax, and I think that that was maybe last year for Villa. I don't know. There's just something about them. They're kind of reminding me of Leicester. I'm not saying they're going to get relegated. That would be ridiculous. But I just think with European football, I think they're probably, if they keep playing how they're playing, they're really going to struggle in the Europa League, which obviously kicks off this week. I believe they're playing against Bologna, who they faced in the Champions League last season. Anyway, our final game before we do the quiz, and I will quickly caveat, just so people are aware, the quiz questions were made for last week's episode, which ended up just being me and Matt. We ended up leaving the quiz, so the questions are a little bit outdated, but it makes it a little bit harder to answer. Anyway, the final game of Super Sunday, the headliner of this weekend's Premier League action was Arsenal versus Manchester City. And I think it proved to be quite, just a standard fixture between these two teams. It gets really hyped up. People get excited for it. And we always end up seeing 2 goals at a push. It was just really boring. I know last year the fixture kind of, especially at the Emirates, kind of, I think Arsenal absolutely battered City, didn't they? And we saw the whole Mars Lewis Skelly celebration like that. Anyway, Erling Haaland put Man City up in the 9th minute with a really nice goal. He made a brilliant driving run from deep off the ball, was found, and I think Jamie Carragher said it at halftime that when Haaland's in that position, you just know he's going to score. But halftime substitutions for Arteta, he brought on Eberechi Eze and Bukayo Saka returned to action, and both played really well, to be fair. Eze floated a superb pass over the top to Martinelli, who had also just come on. And he lobbed Donnarumma. It was a very tasty finish, I must say. And that gave Arsenal a point in the 3rd minute of stoppage time, the 93rd minute of the game. So, Matt, what did you make of this game? What did you think about Arsenal's performance? And are you bored of these games being Super Sunday games? Would you rather we just saw, I don't know, Wolves Leeds as the Super Sunday fixture?
Or Newcastle Bournemouth?
Yeah, maybe not
yeah,
that
I
one.
think I think they're right to keep these games as a 4:30 game. You know, it's the build up, you know, for these big games. But I had it on in the background again. I was too focused on my UCL journey with Juventus getting to the final, which I still have to play. So wish me luck for that. But again, I'm just I don't know. I just don't like the way Arsenal play. I mean, they progressed the ball very well. I thought their build-up was quite good, and they manipulated City's press quite well. And City's goal was very good. The way Haaland started his run deep, and then the speed to pick up there in that position is incredible. And the finish as well is Haaland. It's just typical Haaland goal. I thought Donnarumma had a very good game, very strong, very good in the air. You went to punch crosses, sorry. Reinders as well, I thought was fairly strong. Yeah.
Really smart thing. I don't think, because Cavani was almost ready to make the tackle, and he kind of delays a bit.
Yeah.
I don't think he expects Martinelli kind of just stabs a foot out at it. And it's a superb finish. Eze played centrally for the first time because Trossard was already on when he came on. So Eze came on in the 10 because there was no Odegaard, of course. And to be honest, I think it went for them. He almost scored early on when he come off. And I think it was just good to see Eze playing where we know he likes to play.
Who are you talking to? Yeah. Who are you talking to? Is aimed at anyone? Oh, is he gone? He's gone. Oh God. Yeah, one of you boys answer that. I mean, Charlie, you're the Eze expert, so you go on with that.
I am indeed. If there's one thing I'm an expert about, it's that man. I thought that Eze was good. Yeah, I thought obviously almost scored when he came on. It's really, really simple. Us Palace fans, we're not just saying it for a laugh. If you play Eze at left wing, you will not get much out of Eze. It's just, he's not a left winger. He operates best in the middle of the pitch. He needs a lot of the ball. He needs a lot of confidence from the players around him as well to trust him, because he rarely gives it away when he goes 1-on-1 with a defender. And yeah, I thought he was good. I think City though deserved winners. They are just good, aren't they? They are good. not the winners even. They deserve the point. I think they probably maybe even deserve to win. But Haaland's just a joke. That run, Reinders carried it really well, and then Haaland just. For me, it wasn't even obviously what Henry said. It wasn't even when Haaland gets in that position 1-1 with the keeper, you know he's going to score. When I saw Reinders running with the ball and Haaland galloping up behind him, I thought Haaland's going to score it. It's so obvious. He's so inevitable, and I think he is the best player in the league, personally.
You know what I found quite
that's
interesting about the game as well was that obviously, like the last couple of years, we've kind of known for Man City to be the team who kind of dictate play, whereas Arsenal sit back. And it was flips the complete opposite this time. Arsenal looked way more comfortable on the ball, and I've not seen City play like that or be limited to that much in their own half in a very, very long time.
Yeah, I think
usually
Rodri had a bad game, and I think that maybe had an impact on that. He gave the ball away quite a lot, especially for him. I mean, a player of his caliber, he normally never gives the ball away.
He's not looked too good since his injury. I won't lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That's just his start to the season.
Exactly, it's a slow start. What we're going to do, we're going to take a teeny weeny break, and we're going to have to just put these bits together, which is going to be
teeny weeny.
Teeny weeny's crazy, but I'm so tired and ill that I don't even care. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do the quiz. I'm just going to make sure that everything is saved correctly because my phone is absolutely bugging. So we will be back with the quiz in just a second. Hello, welcome back. Sorry about that break. We think we've managed to fix the issues. It's the first time we've recorded as a lot of us in a few weeks, and I think it's just messing up with the Riverside app. Anyway, we're going to jump straight back into the quiz. We have 5 questions for each of the boys, and like I said earlier, they are from last week's Premier League fixtures, and just questions about last week in general. So it's going to test their memory. I don't want any tears, especially from Kyle, because I know what you're like. Anyway, we're going to go straight in for it. And starting off is going to be Matt's questions, if he's still there. Is he still there? Yes. Okay.
Is that good? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you all good. No worries. So, Matt, I have 5 questions for you about last weekend's football. And, let's see how many you can get. So, question number 1. Ange Postecoglou lost his first game for Forest this weekend, but which club has former Forest boss Steve Cooper taken the reins at?
Bromby.
Okay. Question number 2. Aston Villa drew 0-0 at Everton. Obviously, this was last weekend. Which former Manchester United player came on the pitch for Villa? He was a substitute.
Sancho.
Okay, is that your final answer?
Yes.
Okay. I don't want any reactions, boys. You need to.
Nice little through ball there, Henry.
You're up against each other, okay? Yeah, did you like that little link? How many seasons has Tom Cairney played for Fulham?
Oh, that's tough. I can't remember if it's 14-15 or 15-16 it's time for them. I'm going to do 15-16. So this is his 10th season this season.
Okay. Question number 4. Nick Woltemade scored his first Newcastle goal, but which Bundesliga side did he start his career at?
Werder Bremen.
Okay. And number 5. Thomas Souček was sent off for West Ham, but which referee showed him the card?
Oh, the first name that I don't know, but the first name that comes to mind is Stuart Atwell.
Okay. Locked in.
Yep.
I can tell you now that you got... You got 3 out of 5, okay? I'm going to sneeze. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
It's not... Okay, if it comes, it comes. Anyway, so you got Bromby correct, nice and early. The ex-Manchester United player was Victor Lindelof.
Oh, yeah, of course. I forgot something.
You were correct. It's Cairney's 10th season currently this year.
That's some answer. Fair play.
And also, you were correct. You were also correct that Nick Woltemade started his career at Werder Bremen as well. Well done. The referee that sent Thomas Souček off was the Australian Jared Gillett. So
was that FM, Matt?
One.
Was that FM, the Nick Woltemade answer? Because I knew that because of FM.
Well, I just saw at some point in time I've seen just some, you know, where they go find their first FIFA cards or something.
Oh, yeah, I see.
It was Werder Bremen. So.
There we go. So that's 3 points for Matt.
Okay.
Now,
Okay, I'll take that.
Kyle, you're up next, buddy. Right.
Mate, don't accept defeat already, mate. Come on. This is your week.
Let's get cracking.
Go on.
Question number 1. Bournemouth have started the season well, despite losing their 2 starting centre-backs. What was significant about one of their former centre-backs' performances last weekend? This would have been, granted, this would have been easier to answer last weekend.
Every single question, every single question that Carl gets asked, he responds with, wait, so...
So not only am I asking to remember last week's games, but also last week's La Liga or Ligue 1 games.
Okay, but okay, so you do understand the question. Okay.
Yeah.
What was significant about one of their performances?
Did Huijsen get a red card?
He did. Well done. And it was his second red in 8
You're not
Real
meant
Madrid
to
games.
tell him that he
Yeah, I
did
know,
right.
but I'm actually I can do what I like, thanks. I make the rules for the quiz.
Worst quizmaster ever.
right, fine. I won't tell him the. Yeah, okay. Crystal Palace set a club record for consecutive undefeated games in the Premier League. But how many games is that record currently at?
What, including this week, not last week?
Including this week. We can include this week now.
Again, it has been mentioned on this pod.
Oh, is it 18?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Papa Matar
Kyle.
scored in Spurs' win last weekend, but who did he score a late winner against during the international break? You should know this. You should be following your players' international careers.
Yeah, I quite regularly keep up with African group qualifiers. I'm going to guess Congo.
Say that again for me, sorry.
Congo, or like DR Congo.
Okay. Question number 4 for Kyle. Charlton played Millwall in the Championship last week, but what was the final score? Charlie knows this instantly, by the way. He's fuming. This isn't one of his...
No, I don't. No, I just shrug because I don't have a fucking clue, mate. I don't care. They're 2 tiny little clubs. Who cares?
They are, but I just thought I'd chuck it in for a laugh.
I'll go... Bloody hell, 2-1 Millwall.
Okay, and question number 5. How long did it take Cole Palmer to score after coming off the bench for Chelsea last weekend?
Who did they play last weekend? Brentford, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Drew 2-2 against Brentford.
It's a great finish as well.
Yeah, I remember the goal.
I reckon you've got to give him 3 options here. If he's got to get the exact number.
I will give you 3 options.
I mean, that's
obviously,
fair.
it's not going to be like 27 minutes because why would I ask the question? Okay, was it A, 3 minutes? Was it B, 5 minutes? Or was it C, 7 minutes?
I think it was 3 minutes. I want to go quick.
Okay. So, to recap, first question was Bournemouth starting the season well. Their centre-backs, what's significant? You were correct. Dean Huijsen was sent off. 2, Crystal Palace set a club record consecutive undefeated games. Sorry, listen to this. In the Premier League. That was a key part of the question. The answer is currently 11. Okay?
All right, okay.
Not 18. The actual unbeaten run is 17 games now. Okay?
Yeah.
Papa Matar scored in Spurs' win, but who did he score a late winner against? You said DR Congo. The answer was DR Congo.
Oh.
Wow.
Superb work.
Fair dues.
So you're currently on 2 points. Charlton played Millwall. The score was not 2-1 to Millwall. It was 1-1. So you don't 1-1 late equaliser. So you don't get a point for that, of course. And how long did it take Cole Palmer to score after coming off the bench? I made it easier. I gave you multiple choice, and you said 3 minutes. The answer was 5 minutes. So you get 2 points, which means Matt is currently ahead. The only person
Carl's
that can
already
challenge
lost.
him, the only person that can, The only person that can challenge him is our final contestant, Charlie.
It's my debut. It's my debut.
Charlie's debut in the podcast quiz, and I've made the questions extra tricky. Actually, no. To be fair, looking at them, you'll probably get all of them right because you've got good knowledge. Anyway, Newcastle play Barcelona or played Barcelona in the Champions League this week. What was significant about the fixture?
That's really precise. I love a question like that. It's for me right in my head right now. I've got either it's the first time that Barca have played at St James's Park, or it's the first time Newcastle have played Barca.
Okay.
I'm going to go with it's the first ever time that Newcastle and Barcelona have played each other.
Okay. Question 2. After Villa's 0-0 draw. After Villa's 0-0 draw at Everton, what was significant, I say, about Villa amongst England's top 7 divisions?
Only team that hadn't scored a goal.
Which Premier League team are yet to earn a point this season?
Wolves.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. I don't know why I put that one in Kyle's face. I love it.
To be fair, it has turned out that Kyle probably has had the hardest questions each week.
I'm not doing it deliberately either. Well, no, because
If you want to scrap that Wolves question and make me another, I would be all right with that.
I can't be asked, and I'm the rule master, as we know. Anyway, question number 4. What was significant about the Arsenal midfield that started against Forest?
I fucking hate these questions, mate.
Well, think about the 3 players that started for Arsenal.
I don't know who started. Zubimendi, Rice, and Odegaard.
Do you want me to? I would tell you who started, but I think you'll get it straight away. So I'm not going to do that.
Such a niche one.
I
don't know the answer as well.
Zubimendi, Marino, some sort of Spanish. But then who else would it be? No. Oh fuck you know, I don't know.
You're onto it. The last player was their number 10. So you got the first 2. No. As in like the player that plays with their number 10.
Oh. I don't fucking know, mate.
Odegaard. Yeah. Okay. So think about that. That's all I'll give you.
Right. Let's think. It's not going to be Zom. No, it's not the names. It's not a little acronym.
Zom. What the fuck does that mean?
Odegaard went off injured. That's not going to be anything to do with it. No, Spain, Norway, Spain.
I'm really disappointed in you here. I'll be so real.
Oh, I don't fucking. Did they all score a goal in the international break the week before?
Is that your guess?
Well, that is true, but I don't.
Okay. Let's move on to the last question.
I'm just gonna die. Yeah, I don't fucking know.
How long was Marshall Minetzi on the pitch before he was booked for Wolves last weekend? I will give you 3 options.
I don't fucking know, mate.
Was it A, 1 minute, B, 2 minutes, or C, 3 minutes?
We're going to go with 1 minute because I feel like that sounds about right. You know, that'd be significant.
So Newcastle played Barcelona for the first time in the Champions League this week. You said it was the first time the sides have played each other. Okay, I believe that that's not true. I think they played each other in 1976. I'm willing to be proven wrong on that.
Sooner than that, I think 1990s.
Oh, 1990s.
Oh, were you there, Matt? Were you?
I might be wrong, but I had it as the first time that Barcelona were playing at St James's Park. If that's wrong, then I'm very sorry. But
I literally said that, and I changed my mind. Okay. I hate this. I hate it.
The next question: after Villa's 0-0 draw, you got that right. Obviously, that was a nice easy one, especially seeing as we spoke about that today. Which Premier League team not to earn a point? You got that right with Wolves. What was significant about the Arsenal midfield that started against Forest? The answer was that they all played together at Real Sociedad.
Fucker!
Martin
You
Odegaard,
motherfucker!
and Mikel Moreno. And I thought you'd get that. I really thought you'd get that.
Oh fuck! I thought no, but if that had come to my mind, I'll be honest, I would have thought that Zubimendi missed Odegaard. That probably would have been the conclusion I would have come
okay.
to.
No, he got promoted by Xabi Alonso, actually.
Xabi
Very
Alonso
interesting.
managed at Real Sociedad.
He was a B team manager.
Okay, so just to double check, Matt, how many points did you get?
3.
And Charlie also got 3 because he got the final question right. It was 1 minute, which means that both Charlie and Matt get a point this week. And I believe that leads the leaderboard.
Where's the tiebreaker?
Yeah,
I didn't have...
tiebreaker.
We want a tiebreaker. Okay. We want a tiebreaker. We want a tiebreaker.
I honestly don't think I can do that. I don't have the facilities for that right now. So I'm going to give you both a point. Next week, I promise there will be... Next week...
Well, no, but this way I can't catch him. That's not fair.
You can.
I can't catch him.
We have a whole season. We have a whole season. Next week there will be a tiebreaker. Kyle, I will try my best to make the questions fair. I'm really sorry. Try and come up with quiz questions. It is really fucking hard. It's hard, guys. It's really hard.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. But one of the questions being about what's the only team who haven't scored a point? Like it's blatantly obvious.
Holy crash out! Holy crash out!
I was brewing. He was sat there brewing, and it was all. What I will say. What I will say is that now you kind of know the questions that I go for. You need to look through each fixture on SofaScore. I think the way I get most of the questions is I go through the fixtures on SofaScore. If not that, it's what I've seen on Twitter. So there we go.
Henry, it's all right. I'll familiarise myself with more African World Cup.
You got that right. Why are you complaining? You got it right.
This fucking guy, man. Anything to moan about. Right, guys, that is the end of today's episode 10 of More of a 6. I hope you've enjoyed. It's kind of turned into an absolute shit show. I really hope this can be edited together to make some sort of coherent episode. But for now, goodbye. We will see you again very soon, probably next weekend, whilst we review Game Week 6 of the Premier League, and we also talk about the League Cup and Europa League action as well. But for now, thanks a lot. Remember to like, subscribe, follow on all of our social medias, leave a 5-star rating on Spotify. And until next week, see you later.